This might be where the idea of Santa flying through the sky with reindeer got its start. In ancient Norse mythology, the god Odin was said to ride his magical 8-legged horse, Sleipnir, through the night sky, delivering small gifts to people. Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to another episode of I Wonder, the show where we explore the questions you've been wondering about. Today's question comes from Max, who lives in Costa Mesa, California. Max asked, how did Santa Claus become what he is today? What a great question, Max. Santa Claus is such a big part of Christmas, but have you ever wondered where his story began? Let's take a sleigh ride through history and discover how Santa Claus became the jolly figure we know and love today.
Wow.
The story of Santa Claus begins a long time ago, about 1700 years ago, with a man named Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas wasn't from the North Pole. He was actually from a place called Mira, which is in modern-day Turkey. He was known for his kindness and generosity, especially toward children and people in need. One of the most famous stories about Saint Nicholas is how he secretly helped a poor family by tossing bags of gold coins through their window at night. According to the legend, one of the bags even landed in a stocking that was hanging by the fire to dry. Sound familiar? That's where the tradition of hanging stockings for Santa comes from. Saint Nicholas became so beloved that after he passed away, people began celebrating his life every year. He also became the patron saint of sailors, children, and even pawnbrokers. Story of his generosity spread far and wide, inspiring people in different professions and walks of life. Over time, his story grew and changed, with each culture adding its own unique details. How Saint Nick became Santa Claus. Fast forward several centuries, and Saint Nicholas's story makes its way to Europe, where he became known as Santa Claus in countries like the Netherlands. Dutch settlers brought the tradition of Santa Claus to America in the 1600s, and over time, his name transformed into Santa Claus. In the 1800s, writers and artists in America began creating the Santa Claus we recognize today. A famous poem called A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, described Santa as a jolly man with a round belly, a sleigh pulled by reindeer, and a habit of coming down chimneys to deliver gifts. This poem, written in 1823, became hugely popular and shaped the modern image of Santa. Around the same time, artists like Thomas Nast drew illustrations of Santa Claus dressed in a red suit with a big white beard. These images made Santa's look even more iconic. By the early 1900s, Santa Claus had become a central symbol of Christmas cheer and generosity, spreading joy wherever his story was told. And while Coca-Cola didn't invent Santa Claus, their advertisements in the 1930s made his image with the red suit famous around the world, cementing the image of Santa that we know today. Even though Santa Claus's appearance has changed over the years, one thing has always stayed the same: his spirit.
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa represents the idea of giving, kindness, and spreading joy. When you think about it, the real magic of Santa isn't just about gifts. It's about bringing people together, helping others, and making the world a happier place during the holiday season. That's why so many people around the world celebrate Santa in their own unique way. In some countries, children leave out their shoes instead of stockings. In others, Santa has helpers who deliver treats or gifts. And even before Santa became part of Christmas, the idea of generosity during the winter season was central to many cultures. In ancient Norse mythology, for example, the god Odin was said to ride his magical 8-legged horse, Sleipnir, through the night sky, delivering small gifts to people. This might be where the idea of Santa flying through the sky with reindeer got its start. Another fun part of Santa's story is his workshop in the North Pole. This idea didn't appear until the late 1800s, when American writers and illustrators started imagining Santa living in a magical place filled with snow and elves. Before that, people thought of St. Nicholas as living closer to forests or mountains in Europe. The North Pole idea gave Santa an even more magical home, far away from the rest of the world, where he could prepare for Christmas with the help of his trusty elves. So, Justin, how did Santa Claus become what he is today? It all started with St. Nicholas, a kind and generous man who inspired people to give to others. Over time, his story grew and changed, transforming into the jolly Santa Claus we know today, a symbol of kindness, joy, and the spirit of Christmas. From his early days in Turkey to his workshop at the North Pole, Santa's story reminds us that the true magic of the season is about giving and spreading happiness. Thanks again to Max for such a heartwarming question. And remember, if you have a question you're curious about, submit it on our website, iwonderpodcast.com, and we might just feature it in our next episode of I Wonder. Until next time, stay curious and keep wondering.